Kanye West has gotten into more hot water, this time after he suggested a fentanyl overdose caused George Floyd's death, not homicide. The attorney who represents the Floyd family, Lee Merritt, signaled they are considering suing the rapper. Ye's recent tweets and controversial interviews even drew the attention of former President Donald Trump, who called Ye's actions, quote, crazy, and said he needs help.
Wow, how interesting.
It's bad when Trump calls you crazy.
Yes, it can be bad. Now, I don't, I think the likelihoods of, I hate everyone suing everyone for every reason. Again, we should have free speech in this country. You should be allowed to say things that are wrong, that are edgy, that are contrarian, without either being thrown offline or kicked out of school or job loss or being sued. So, look, that's what, you know, obviously the police officer who
Derek Chauvin.
Derek Chauvin, whose actions were determined to have resulted in the death of George Floyd from the standpoint of him being prosecuted. That's some significant evidence for the fact that, yes, he was killed by the police.
And a police officer who admitted in federal court what he did and that this was the cause, and coroners and medical examiners who have shown that that was his cause of death. Kanye's statements fly in the face of fact. They fly in the face of medical evidence. They fly in the face of what all of us saw. Like, it was the video seen worldwide that sparked a movement. It's very frustrating, and I get what you're saying. There are a lot of superfluous lawsuits that should just be thrown out.
And there were probably, to be, you know, in all fairness, there were contributing, a healthier person might have survived that interaction, that, you know, they're contributing factors and everything. Now, however, the police officers...
He would have definitely survived the interaction if the knee was never on his neck.
The police officer's behavior was contrary to police training. It was unnecessary because George Floyd was already, I mean, the whole thing was unnecessary, but George Floyd was already, he was not a risk, he was handled, he was pinned. So then you cuff him, put him in the car, etc. You know, it was minute after minute after minute after minute of Chauvin, you know, knee on the back, onlookers, people saying, expressing concern. So you can't say the police officer had no idea he knew what he was doing. It was contrary to training and reckless, and people were saying, look, he's in bad shape. You got, like, why are you still kneeing on this man? And that was what the court determined was what killed him.
Literally watching him lose his life while your knee is on his neck. And I take this very seriously, as I do all things that are police brutality and excessive force. Again, my father's a police officer in Chicago. So when I watch this and know what he encounters on a daily basis and the stories that he, you know, has to tell about these things, there is protocol. And none of that was followed in this case, not just with the knee on the neck, but also the protocol that tells you that you should offer assistance. That was not there either in terms of trying to revitalize this person, trying to ensure that their health is okay. He was absolutely fine, essentially snuffing this man out and watching the entire time. Meanwhile, crowds are gathered filming it. They're begging for mercy. He does not care. Neither do his other police officer
all
counterparts.
Of that said, it's opinion. Well, I mean, I think it's the wrong opinion that it was caused by something else.
It runs against fact. It's not just, you can have an opinion, but when the medical examiners, when the coroner, when in a federal case, the actual contributing officer to his death has admitted his own guilt.
Get sued for bad opinions.
They do all the time.
Well, no, they do, but they shouldn't be able to be sued. They don't necessarily I mean, no, the bar is very high, right? It would be unlikely, in my view, that a case would find him liable here for defamation, that a court would find Kanye liable for defamation for expressing a bad opinion.
I don't know about that. We've seen celebrities be found liable for really stupid opinions that have caused harm to families that have been hurt.
Are you talking Amber Heard, Johnny Depp here?
And we got Amber Heard, we got Johnny Depp. We've seen people get sued for these things, and it actually
anybody can sue anyone for they can get sued. Anyone can sue anyone for any reason.
No, but actually having to pay the recourse. So that does happen. And I think that in this case, because he did this in conjunction with Candace Owens and a very questionable documentary that she has coming out, and we know she's got a bone to pick with the Black Lives Matter movement taking off and, you know, and gaining a lot of strength after the George Floyd death and protests. strikes. This is something that she's been on for a very long time. She has said, since it happened, that George Floyd, that he was not necessarily murdered by this police officer. She has pushed the overdose theory. She has done this regularly and then stood by and helped create a documentary where, again, flying in the face of fact, this is something that she continues to do.
My understanding is that the opinion fact difference from a legal standpoint. So, for instance, in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case, it ends up being a factual allegation, whether who had engaged in physical abuse at the other person, and they said, well, yes, actually threw something, like that was a bit. So that's whether some physical action was taken is a factual assertion versus what caused his death is more of a, again, I agree with you for what the actual cause is, but it's falling into the category of opinion, I think, rather than any kind of actionable factual claim. So I don't think it would be actionable. I mean, obviously you can try, but that's why I don't think it's. But I don't think he's in danger of paying out any money because of it. But
we'll see what happens. I think that if he continues to amplify, which knowing Kanye West, he will. He doesn't know when to stop. I could see that recourse actually, turning up for him because again, he's perpetuating something that is not only painful and damaging and absolutely incorrect. He is knowingly doing it again in the face of actual legitimate facts.
Well, that's all we have for today. Amisha, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. It's always exciting, Robbie.
Wonderful. All right, Botch It will be back with us next Monday, and Bree will be here tomorrow, so stay tuned for all of that. And please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And also for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. And we're streaming on Roku and other platforms, which is very exciting, and we hope you're watching us one way or the other. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.